super crazy week. It was an existential threat to have him in the company. I'm tired to not go over all these details right now, but then last week. Welcome back to the channel. This week has been a super crazy week. It was such an interesting week. So I am graduating, or I'm finishing school next week. My parents are visiting next week. And this week it's been finals week, presentations with school and GenAIx. A lot of things have been happening. Now we have a new CMO who joined, Eric. We were having a little bit of issues with selling. We do have a prospective client who's joining now. So we're having a prospective meeting with a bigger company who is interested in AI or integrating AI into their organization. Our CEO brought in that contact, so we're super grateful for that. We had to deal with the CRO. It wasn't like working out, but then we're still fixing that issue, which was a very interesting thing that we're still working out with the CRO right now, or our Chief Revenue Officer. Other than that, it's just been super busy on the mix of scaling GenAIx and at the same time finishing up school and trying to graduate and never do school again. It was super interesting. Now the other addition is GenAIx. We're having an R&D team, so the idea is for them to research every day, reach out to different companies in order to understand what specifically are the pain points within the finance and healthcare industry, and then try to innovate and create specific custom-made products for those specific processes that they can find out. So this will help us stay in the edge, stay in the innovation cycle compared to other companies. So I'm hiring an R&D team for that. It'll be a mix of business dev interns and AI engineers. And the idea is for them to constantly innovate and then share this with the whole team. That would be the main focus for today. Other than that, it's just a couple of one-on-one meetings. And we're also finalizing a partnership agreement with a bigger company in Germany. So we already signed the contracts. This week we're meeting up with them on taking pictures for the announcement for LinkedIn and all the other socials that we're announcing it. So this company actually works with the Dubai's airport. They're the ones providing the chatbot for their website. And now we want to help them expand here to the US for enterprise level clients. Well, one of the super interesting things that happened at GenAIx over the past week is the internal politics. So since we have C-suits, it was very interesting seeing one of our C-suits, the CRO. He was honestly not, I personally thought it was an existential threat to have him in the company, because he was not delivering results, but at the same time it was not great for the whole environment. Like, I wasn't the culture that I wanted to see at GenAIx, and I wanted to end the role, but having a C-suit, you don't just end it that way, right? You have to convince everyone. But then now CRO was convincing everyone why he should stay, and we wrote a detailed message on why Bob was getting fired. But then it wasn't that simple. So yeah, this is the thing that comes when the company grows, and as you have C-suit on your table, internal politics just arises. It's very inevitable, and literally navigating that is its own thing. You have to really find a way to navigate that. And it was different when you're a young startup company. You move fast, you try things, but then as more senior people come, as the meetings evolve, it becomes a different game that you also have to do on the side of innovating and constantly staying on track on selling, innovating. So it's super interesting learning everything. I personally take everything as a learning experience. done with my meetings for the day. I scheduled calls for AI engineering interns for our new R&D team. And now currently I have a final, a mergers and acquisitions final on Saturday, which is in a few days. So I'm going to be studying for it. This class is mostly about, how when a company acquires another company or when two companies merge, how do you actually calculate the technicals, like the numbers, or about leverage buyouts. So it's a mix of M&As and leverage buyouts, meaning when companies borrow money to actually acquire another company, fix it up, and then sell it. Basically calculating the technicals behind those deals. It's very interesting, but it's very, very technical. So the exam is actually handwritten. Other exams for my masters are actually on the computer, but only this one you actually have to, calculate like the free cash flow, what's like the EBIT, how do you weighted average cost of capital, if you borrow this amount, if you buy it for stock for stock exchanges, depending on how there are many ways of buying companies and calculating how much money you would save if you either borrow money through debt or if you do stock for stock exchange, meaning you give away your own stock, your company stock, in exchange for some company stock, and you can mix it. There's different variations of doing it, and there's a ways of valuing the company, how much to offer, what's the lowest, the highest. When companies buy, they actually pay premiums based on the valuation. So there's the current valuation, and then when they want to acquire it, they have to pay extra to acquire it, right, to make it attractive for the shareholders to sell. Well, that is the technicals. This is my last week of studying. After working, I'm already tired to not go over all these details right now, but then last week, and I might not have to do this again for the rest of my life exam. So I'm gonna go over finishing up the other few chapters on mergers and acquisitions, and the LBOs is like the next chapter, and I'll be done. Let's get to it. This cool library, I was trying to grab some paper for doing some reviews, and I've actually never been to this library for literally the entirety of my school. For the last 2 years, I've never been. First time getting into this huge library, which is crazy, and it is like multiple floors, like 6 floors, so different levels of multiple financial books. I just saw statistics from 2004. I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of finance books, a lot of business books in this big, huge ass library. The whole building is literally just a library. So this is like Baruch College. It's at the 23rd Street in Manhattan. And this is like a huge ass library. But I just came here to grab the paper. That was like the whole point of coming in here. Now, paper secured. Let's do the reviews, get down studying, and also get done with leaving the whole thing. But